Number 10. Dick Grayson's Batsuit. After the fall of Azrael Batman, Dick Grayson was the next best option, even if it wasn't what either him or Bruce wanted. Grayson made some significant changes to the Batsuit to better the suit to his style and preferences. For example, he said, "No capes!" just like Ed Nemode from The Incredibles. No, he didn't, but I wanted to say it. He did actually include a cape, but it was much lighter and had more specific parachute-like functions. He changed the utility belt too, making it metal and streamlined. No longer a big pouchy leather belt, it had mechanical compartments instead. While not useful for any specific moment, it was useful in allowing Dick Grayson to take up the Batman mantle more effectively when he needed to. Number 9. The Hazbat Suit. Batman is famous for being prepared for any situation. One such situation would be bioattacks, bioweapons, contagions, and other related issues. Of course Batman has a plan. The Robin named Hazbat Suit is a lightweight suit that protects Batman from any airborne contagion. It also has medical scanners that aid Batman in locating the source and counter-agent to any infection he may be affected by. But this suit is not a pushover either, just because it's medically based. It's able to withstand hits from Superman. Seems like a pretty useful suit to me. Number 8. Azrael. After the extremely famous Batman moment where Bane broke Bruce Wayne's back, there was a need for someone to take up the Batman mantle. Bruce Wayne's choice ended up being John Paul Valley, otherwise known as the anti-hero Azrael. Due to his mental conditioning, while with the Order of St. Dumas, he was a much more violent Azbat, even allowing people to die. His suit reflected not only his violent tendencies, but the era in the 90s that it premiered in. John Paul created a gray, yellow, and blue battle suit with red accents. It had flamethrowers, gun batarangs, claws, and a night vision helmet. His violent ways forced the return of Batman, and the sweet suit was abandoned. But some of its capabilities would certainly have been useful in lots and lots of situations.
Number 7. Plated. The plated Batsuit comes from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and is the new suit that Bruce has made after the Nomex suit leaves him wanting more flexibility. Batman can't turn his head in this suit, which of course means he has to rely on peripherals in combat, and he jokes makes it hard for him to back out of the driveway. Lucius Fox, in response to Bruce's complaints on the Nomex suit, helps him by designing the plated suit. This suit is composed of more separate pieces, which give Batman added flexibility, agility, and speed. It's made up of hardened Kevlar plates on a titanium-dipped fiber, with his cowl's new design being based on that of a motorcycle helmet, granting him increased flexibility in his neck so he can actually, turn his head. Batman also gives the suit sonar vision, which would use cell phones to help Batman see in even pitch darkness by tapping into said cell phones and using them as microphones to broadcast a high frequency, which the suit can then use to see just about anywhere in Gotham. He can also use the sonar vision to tap into people's cell phones, so he can also use them to listen in on just what's going on in Gotham and what people are saying, which is pretty creepy. However, Lucius was not a fan of the sonar vision because he felt it was unethical, equating it to spying on millions of people whenever it was being used. So while this was cool tech, it was never really fully utilized because Lucius disagreed with his design for sonar vision being used in this manner to spy on people. And he was the only one that Bruce trusted to ethically use it. In fact, Lucius's reaction was to agree to help Batman, but only once, as he felt compelled to resign because of how this tech was going to be used. Granted, the tech had a self-destruct built in by Bruce, who knew Lucius probably wouldn't agree to using that tech all the time, and it was destroyed after the one-time use, implying that Fox stayed on and of course did not end up resigning. The plated suit also didn't provide as much protection and ended up getting Bruce injured to the point that he would need a cane. Still, a solid 3 out of 5 pouches, but I feel like speed should not be as important as the actual armor of the suit, in my mind. If Batman was like, yeah, I just want to move my neck, I'd be like, dude, I just want you to keep your neck, you know what I mean? Number 6, Mark 1. The Mark 1 Batsuit comes to us from Batman the Telltale series, an episodic-based playable novel-style video game where your choices as Batman influence the world and the story around you, meaning that you get to see what it feels like to literally be Batman. There are a few different versions of the Batsuit that we get throughout the evolution of the story and the game. The first suit you get to play with is, of course, the Mark 1, which was primarily designed by Lucius Fox. The suits in the Telltale games really should not be underestimated, by the way. The Mark 1 comes armored, of course, protecting you as Batman against gunfire and even armor-piercing bullets. Aside from that, you also get more heavily armored gauntlets to defend against incoming attacks on your exposed jawline. The suit also comes with tech that allows you to pilot and control drones, so you can plan combat strategies and get surveillance before jumping into a fight. It also comes with a voice modulator, hacking equipment, visual holographic, and criminal and forensic analysis capabilities, thermal imaging, night vision, and sticky bombs. This suit gets a 3 out of 5 pouches rating from me, and that's just the first model from the game, so yeah, it also gets better from there. But I like the Mark 1, so I wanted to talk about that one.
Number 5. Upgraded Advanced Suit. The Advanced Spider-Man suit in the Marvel Spider-Man video game always deserves a mention, but it's literally on the cover of the game. So another armor native to that game though comes to mind. That's the upgraded Advanced Suit. Peter creates this armor out of the same material that Dr. Otto Octavius created his cybernetic limbs with. While he originally made this suit as a side project, it became extremely useful when Doc Ock became his sinister self. The suit allowed Peter to be able to actually stand up to his old mentor, and it looked really good doing it. All black metal-like material with the yellow eyes and the spider symbol. After I beat the game, I definitely used this as my main suit, and you know what? It's actually worn on top of the Advanced Suit, so I'm kind of hitting 2 spiders with 1 stone here. Number 4. Spider-Man Carnage Doppelganger. We all know Spider-Man had the awesome Black Venom symbiote suit, but did you know Miles Morales had one too? When he was forcibly bonded with a symbiote by Carnage, the resulting suit is a corrupted looking version of Miles's already awesome suit, with a jaw, splashes and spirals, and ripped gloves and boots. It also changed colors when in a fight. Just like Peter, Miles eventually got control of the suit, changing its look with red streaks under the eyes. Also, the spider logo was skinny and the legs extended and wrapped around the shoulders and thighs. This suit was both useful and detrimental. All the perks of having a symbiote bonded suit, but also with all the cons. It didn't last as long as Peter's run with the symbiotic suit though, which sucks when you know how much better it looks. Don't kill me in the comments for that. Hold up. Hey, before we carry on, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting that like button. And if you did it, thanks for subscribing. It means a lot to us here. Okay, now let's carry on before I get too sentimental. Number 3, the black cloth suit. After Peter Parker defeated Venom and removed the symbiotic suit, his girlfriend at the time, Black Cat, gave him this black cloth Spider-Man suit that was thankfully not a symbiote. Her reasoning was that, well, to put it plainly, she thought he looked sexier in the black suit. Hey, we all know black is sexy, okay? He was initially resistant to the idea, but he had to wear it because his other suit shrunk in the wash. Yes, that's the actual reason. Peter Parker problems, am I right? Really, it was because fans loved the black suit. I am one of those fans. The black suit and his traditional suit were swapped in and out from time to time, and the black suit was even his primary suit for a while when the other one was destroyed. This suit was useful for Peter as his girlfriend loved it and fans loved it. Oh, and it was really good for stealth and intimidated the hell out of bad guys. Yeah. Number 2, Fear Itself suit. If you don't know about the Fear Itself story, well, change that, please. It's an awesome story. Basically, the brother of Odin, who is evil, returns and sends these magical Mjolnir-like hammers to Earth that corrupt heroes and turn them into his chosen. That's a ton of power, and the heroes really struggle to quell that threat. Tony Stark and the dwarves of Nidavellir team up to create Uru armor and weapons for a bunch of heroes. Spider-Man was one of those heroes. The suit had 2 gauntlets on each wrist, which were equipped with blades on each arm which could be used as melee weapons. It also changed the color scheme to a neon-like blue and white scheme. It was really sweet looking. Unfortunately, we don't really know the full capabilities of the suit as Odin ordered it and the other Uru weapons to be destroyed after the conflict. But it had to be extremely useful against the Asgardian level threats because they won. Number 1, Superior Spider-Man suit. Fans of the character will know that the Superior Spider-Man is actually Dr. Otto Octavius, who switched bodies with Peter Parker. After Peter died in Otto's body, and Otto was shown the experiences and memories of Peter, he decided to become an even better Spider-Man. Part of that process included creating a new suit. The modifications to the suit weren't just aesthetic. Otto added a heads-up display on the lenses. All of the fingers on the gloves have retractable claws on them, and the big toe on both boots is separated from the rest of the boot, and both have retractable talons, which is kind of weird. He also added carbonadium in the mask to prevent mind switching. He added a built-in communications device to activate nano spider tracers, and created spider arms on the back. When Peter came back, Surprise, he used the suit with energy weapons and extra arms in order to defeat Itsy Bitsy. Yes, that's a villain. This suit was much more advanced and also looked pretty awesome.
Number 10, Model 13, the Hulkbuster Armor. Starting with an absolute classic, the Hulkbuster Armor has been reworked throughout the years many times, those models being Model 36 and 52. However, let's focus on the first iteration for today. Rather than a full suit of armor like most other suits Tony has created, the Hulkbuster Armor is actually an add-on to the modular armor that was introduced in 1994's Iron Man number 300. Basically, this armor had different add-ons used for a variety of situations, ranging from microsurgery equipment to the massive Hulkbuster. So, I guess kind of think of it as the Mr. Potato Head of Iron Man armor. This particular add-on was used when Hulk confronted Iron Man over the production of gamma bombs while partnered with Stain International, and you probably guessed it, but they did have a pretty big fight over it. Possessing these standard repulsors and unibeam that are incorporated in all base Iron Man suits, the Hulkbuster Armor integrated a magno-hydraulic pseudo-musculature structure, which provided enhanced strength of what is assumed to be able to lift at least 175 tons. Sensors were also adapted to focus on detecting gamma radiation, and it had impact-resistant carbon composite plating and an anchoring system so he could withstand any hit that came his way. Although the modular armor appeared in Iron Man number 300, the Hulkbuster Armor didn't appear until a few issues later in Iron Man number 304. But, I mean, we're all pretty familiar with this one, I assume, since it has already appeared on the big screen in Avengers Age of Ultron. So, let's move on to some stronger and maybe lesser known armors. Number 9, Model 57 3FB. Known officially as the Fin Fang Foom Buster, this suit was designed by Tony alongside Stark Unlimited as a countermeasure against his longtime enemy, Fin Fang Foom. Before we dive more into this design, I do just want to say this one is probably my favorite suit design but I probably am a little bit biased considering I grew up on Gundam and Power Rangers, so anytime I see a blocky looking behemoth of a robot, I am instantly in love. But anyways, let's not dive too far into this tangent. Let's get back to the 3FB. Deployed by Stark to intercept Triple F, that is what I'm calling Fin Fang Foom because my god, that is a real mouthful, when he attacked Manhattan. This suit was deployed as a set of autopiloted air repulsor cannons, and in true Megazord fashion, they combined together to create the 20-story tall suit powerful enough to keep Triple F at bay. Alongside the standard Iron Man suit capabilities, this suit can emit electrical discharges from the palms of its gauntlets. Now, unfortunately, Triple F was able to land a critical hit on this armor, forcing Tony to eject from it and continue the fight in the Model 56 armor, and since then we haven't seen much of it. If you want to see the suit in action for yourself, check it out in 2018's Tony Stark Iron Man number 1. Number 8, Model 22 Thor Buster. Similar to Batman and his contingency plan for the Justice League, it appears that Tony is ready to fight the other members of the Avengers if he has to, although I really doubt he wants to because some of them are literal gods. In this case, Thor gave Tony an Asgardian crystal with the hopes of creating a safer and cleaner power source for Earth. But after an Odin Force-powered and angry Thor begins to rampage because some Asgardian worshippers were killed, Tony is kind of forced to design a suit of armor powered by the crystal that is powerful enough to stop the almighty god of thunder. With a similar design to the Destroyer armor, this suit utilizes the mystical Asgardian energy for everything from flight to life support, and it's basically invulnerable with Thor being the only thing able to damage it. Unfortunately, it did not stick around for too long though, because once Thor got tired of fighting with Tony, he just straight up ripped the suit in half, and thankfully Tony wasn't in it anymore as he had already ejected himself, knowing this was a fight he could probably not win. Now I highly recommend you check this fight out for yourself because it is really well done, so head on over to 2003's Iron Man Volume 3 number 64 and let me know what you think about it in the comments below.
Number 7. Jessie Quick. If you were pumped about the hair flowing that goes along with the crime fighting with the Rebirth Wally West, wait until you see this suit. So Jessie Quick made her first comic book debut in Justice Society of America Volume 2 Issue 1, and she looks quite different. I mean, for starters, she's rocking the sleeveless look, but she also has a blue jacket over top of her bodysuit. Looks great, I love it. Her long hair is free to flow in the wind, and she's come equipped with goggles this time around, which we see speedsters use more than a few times. I mean, a bug going into your eye, super speed, yeah, that's a no for me. Jessie also uses her super speed to fly. I don't know, maybe it's that blue jacket, maybe it catches the wind on the perfect angle and she just... Number 6. Nightmare Suit. Perhaps one of the most enticing moments of the Snyderverse happened during these nightmare sequences. So while Justice League 2 was supposed to take place during this nightmarish time, this was the future where Superman had lost Lois Lane, and he himself obtained the anti-life equation and became Darkseid's pawn, essentially. Now during these scenes, the Flash is a key piece. He's the one that warns Bruce in Batman vs Superman after his nightmare. But his suit even looks futuristic at this point. Check it out. In a recent interview with Justice League costume designer Michael Wilkinson, he goes in deeper on this futuristic suit in terms of design and purpose. So they added an outer shell casing on the Flash's regular suit to protect him even more from these incredible speeds. Now in the Justice League Snyder Cut, Barry does run back the clock at the end, but his current suit was able to keep Barry intact. But if we're talking about warning Bruce years back and maybe running the clock back years at a time, he might need some nanotech armor to help him on his cosmic travels.
Number 5. Nomex. Even though the Nomex suit was actually designed before the plated Batsuit armor in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, I still actually think that this one is better and a more powerful suit overall. It offered Bruce a lot more protection when in battle. It made him almost bullet and knife proof with its Kevlar biweave. This armor was actually based on a rejected military design that, while impressive, was considered too costly by the US military for them to use. Or any other military, that's how expensive it was. Obviously not an issue for Bruce Wayne though. The suit was created by Lucius Fox and would later be modified by Bruce and Alfred. For the purpose of this list, we're focusing on that modified version, which has a few key improvements that allow Batman to easily eavesdrop on conversations in the vicinity but out of earshot, an improved helmet, as the original one was defective, and a latex coating which helps to mask Batman's heat signature. The major downside with this suit is that flexibility is reduced somewhat, making Batman a bit slower in battle and preventing him from turning his head. Still, I give the Nomex suit 4 out of 5 pouches. Number 4. Prime. Obviously one of the best suits around has to still be the Earth Prime suit. It is one of the most modern, and because it isn't restricted to the cinematic realism we often apply to films to make sure characters aren't too powerful and to also make sure things are logical for people that are watching, it can be a little bit more OP. The suit is also made of Kevlar with some titanium also thrown in the mix. It's bulletproof and also helps to protect Batman from high impact damage and blunt force trauma. So if he falls out of a window from a low-rise building, he'll likely be able to still get up and even possibly recover and continue the fight. It's also flame retardant. His mask also has a thin lead lining to protect him from X-ray powers and abilities, and includes sonar capabilities, enhanced auditory sensors, infrared, and night vision. Like the plated suit from the Dark Knight trilogy, his mask also comes equipped with defensive measures like an electrical shock or gas emissions, which help to protect Batman's secret identity should someone try to unmask him. In his utility belt, he also carries a slew of tools that we've seen him utilize over the years in battle, including a kryptonite ring gifted to him by Superman himself, just in case it should ever be needed. I give the Prime suit 4 out of 5 utility belt pouches. Lots of cool stuff in that utility belt. Number 3. Project Batman Exosuit. The Project Batman Exosuit was created for Jim Gordon when he filled in as Batman after the events of Endgame. Not only was Jim Gordon trained up and enhanced himself in order to become the newly appointed Batman, but he was also given this nifty suit to use as well. The suit had 2 layers, a very svelte undersuit, which was sleek and trim that Gordon wore, and the mechanical exosuit, which was like a small mech. This suit came equipped with live rounds, rocket launchers, and all the bells and whistles when it came to tech. It came with the neural guidance system, emergency response equipment including a defibrillator, fire and heat sonics, cannons, a retractable thermo-resist blackout visor, rocket boosters, and camouflage capabilities. It was pretty nuts. Oh, it could also just do its own thing and you didn't even have to pilot. It could be like on autopilot and also be like helping Jim Gordon while he was Batman outside of the suit as well, which is nuts. For the Project Batman suit, I gotta give it a solid 4 out of 5 pouches, because it is crazy. I mean, imagine if Batman wore that suit. That would be nuts. Like Bruce Wayne Batman, not Jim Gordon Batman, who was good, but you know, he's not Bruce Wayne. Number 2, Hellbat. Hellbat is an amazing suit of basically nanotech armor. It was created for Batman by the Justice League to help him increase his stats for battles in which he was completely outclassed. The suit is extremely durable, tough and strong, and can be summoned or dismissed at will via AI tech. The suit has cloaking capabilities, can give Batman literal wings to fly on, and can produce a powerful energy blast from its bat insignia. The downside with this suit is that it's not indestructible, and powerful enemies like Darkseid have damaged it before. It also drains Batman's metabolism when he uses it to increase his own physical abilities such as strength, toughness, or speed, so he needs to be careful as overuse of this element of the suit could actually end up resulting in his death. Still, Batman doesn't even need the Justice League to reassemble this suit after it's first made, and not only does it look cool, but it is very, very OP. I give this suit 5 out of 5 utility belt pouches. maybe even 6 actually. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if there's a 6 on this list, but these last few, they're definitely pushing it. Number 1, Insider. The Insider was a super cool spy suit that Batman used after he returned from being MIA, but was believed dead following a battle with Darkseid, which didn't actually leave him dead, but did leave him having weird time travel adventures. It was a long story. Returning home, he decided to check in with the Bat family and see how they were doing in his absence with the care of Gotham before revealing himself, because Batman. He created a suit to help disguise himself, which had various different modes that allowed him to basically mimic the powers of various members of the Justice League to help keep his identity secret. Although he also included Batman himself in those modes, because Batman is also a member of the Justice League. And it'd be weird if he didn't. If he didn't, I feel like people might be like, maybe it's Batman pretending to be everybody else. This allowed him to maintain an air of mystery while also giving him a really powerful and cool power set with his suit. Oh yeah, and he could also fly and teleport in this suit, because why not? He couldn't teleport super far, but he could still teleport. I give this suit 5 out of 5 pouches, and some bonus Batarang style points, because it's super cool. Throw those Batarangs around. Number 10, The Long Halloween. The Batsuit from The Long Halloween has become almost as iconic and well-loved as the story in which it appears. In The Long Halloween, we get to truly see Batman shine as a brilliant detective, which is a huge part of his character and what fans love about him. The Long Halloween suit is fairly powerful as it comes with Batman's iconic yellow utility belt, but the overall color scheme for it is a touch darker than usual, making it even more appropriate for stealthing around in the dark. Something that you likely want a Batsuit to be really well designed for, considering how much it's a part of Batman's general strategy for disarming and taking down criminals. Starting off light, I give The Long Halloween 1 pouch out of 5 for my personal beltometer ranking, which I'm gonna do throughout this list just because I think it's funny and I want to. Number 9, EarthOne. On EarthOne, Batman's suit can plug into a state-of-the-art advanced computer system that he keeps in his Batcave. This system allows him to run criminal checks and also process criminal analysis. Within his utility belt, he also has a plethora of tools and devices to be used in the field. The EarthOne suit provides Batman with all the items that he needs to unleash the full potential of his investigative skills and helps to enhance Batman's already impressive fighting prowess. It's a standard suit, but one that gets the job done and works well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I give the EarthOne suit 2 out of 5 utility belt pouches. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it where we talk about all the various Batsuits, goodness knows there have been many different looks and many different power levels of suit, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8, Exoframe. The Dark Knight Returns Batsuit, known sometimes as the Exoframe Batsuit or the Powered Batsuit from Frank Miller's story featuring an old Batman facing off against an old but less aged Superman, is a tank of a suit. I mean, it has to be, because it has to help compensate for Batman's more advanced age, and it also has to make up for the power imbalance between Bruce and Clark so that he doesn't just get smooshed straight out of the gate, but can actually hold his own against the powerhouse that is Superman. This is a much more armor-based and durable suit. It also comes fully weaponized with some tricks that Batman can utilize to help him in his fight against Superman. Ultimately, the suit isn't enough to let him win the battle, unless of course his whole plan was to just put up a good show and feign defeat in the end, which based on the ending of this story seems extremely likely. I give the Dark Knight Returns Batsuit 2 pouches out of 5.
Number 7, Superman Red Sun. We don't actually know a ton about the Batman of the Superman Red Sun story, other than his origin. What I picked up from actually reading this comic is that this version of the Caped Crusader is a bit more of an improviser, making use of what he has more than being able to purchase absolutely everything he needs. His suit and even the Batcave actually kind of reflect this. It's less form-fitting, being more like a coat and snow pants. And he even sports a Ushanka-style cowl. He also had more pockets and pouches all over and is seen with a bat-shaped axe grappling hook type weapon thingy. Due to his position as leader of a terrorist group, he carries bombs alongside his usual gear, and he even had a Batman-shaped dummy somewhere in one of those little tiny pockets. Number 6, Kingdom Come. In the story Kingdom Come, we see a world set 20 years in the future, when the noble, great heroes had mostly all retired, giving way to a younger generation of anti-heroes. Bruce Wayne had his identity revealed and had been crippled by Bane and Two-Face. This, along with his natural human aging, caused him to retire, but it's Batman. and he will never fully be out of the game. He completely turned to the Bat side, becoming the Batman, abandoning his real name and taking rule over Gotham City from his Batcave with an army of robotic Bat Knights. But this is a list about Bat suits. His new Bat suit is a mechanized power armor that allows Batman to fight in hand-to-hand combat despite his past injuries. The suit comes with grappling hooks, lasers, and sharp blades, and it can even allow Batman to fly. If that weren't enough, not only does it allow him to move like he once did, it actually gives him super strength as well.
Number 5. Walter West, Dark Flash. He made his introduction to DC Comics back in 1999 with The Flash Volume 2, Issue 150. The Dark Flash came around to take Wally West's place after he had vanished into the Speed Force, so now this dude is in Keystone City. I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite suits to look at, I mean style-wise. The dark color takes the cake, a little more badass than Jay Garrick. No offense, Jay. He's not here, but imagine if he was, we wouldn't even see him. So this Dark Flash was actually an alternate reality version of Wally West known as Walter West. Number 4. Bart Allen Impulse Suit. I gotta mention Bart Allen on this list because we were already on the topic of that costume ring earlier. So because Bart's first costume ring where he stored this Impulse Suit was a gift from Wally West, it was actually a replica of that original ring. So Bart Allen is a member of the Flash family born in the 30th century, because you know how speedsters do it, and he's the grandson of Barry Allen, but he returned to the past to continue his family's legacy. And his suit has stealth tech, so it can change its appearance by activating a button hidden on its chest. That Darkwear suit looks pretty sweet. I mean, any stealth suit gets me jazzed up. I love me a good stealth suit. It's the only suit that I use when I play SpiderMan PS4. Little fun fact for you. Number 3. Old Man Barry Allen Future Suit. During the Year 1 storyline, Barry accidentally travels through time where he meets, well, himself. This isn't a new concept for the Flash's storylines, but this version was much older and much more badass. See, this time around he lost the sleeves, which, I mean, we get it, you're cool, but it also shows that Barry doesn't need to fully protect himself with armor. He can just show some of the big guns off while he's doing his speed stuff. Number 2. Professor Zoom Reverse Flash Suit. This is where super suits can come back around and bite you in the ass. So the year was 2463. Avatar 2 has finally been released in theaters, but most importantly, a time capsule materialized out of the air, and then inside were these timeless relics from the 20th century, like Avatar 1 on Blu-ray, and a costume of course used by the Flash, mainly. So Thawne decided to amplify the super speed wave patterns that were left in the suit using 25th century tech, and alas, he now has a super suit that gives him the ability of super speed. His next step was to just change up the color design and get on his speedy way. So he took on the mantle of Professor Zoom, the fastest criminal in history. So as long as he wears this suit, he has those powers. How awesome of a gift would that be? Later versions of the character had different origins so that it wasn't just the suit that gave Thawne abilities, and we can see the powered suit version in the CW's The Flash. Check it out.
You're all dead.
And finally, number 1, the Blue Lantern Suit. Yes, one of, if not the most powerful suit that the Flash has worn has to be during the Blackest Night storyline, where Barry Allen becomes a Blue Lantern of Hope. So we have the 7 colors of the spectrum, each representing a different emotion. So we got to see other characters take on the role of a lantern. So now we get to see the Flash, who's already amazing with his own powers. He gets another bling ring, but this time in the form of a Blue Lantern core ring. Now the driving force of hope is what powers up the Blue Lanterns, whereas Green Lanterns use willpower, and seeing the Flash have this, I mean, man, it was quite the spectacle, and it looks cool too. Well guys, number 10, Jay Garrick, Golden Age Flash Suit. He made his first debut into comics in Flash Comics issue 1. He was the first Flash in comics, so of course we're gonna start with his look of choice. He rocks the blue pants and the red top with the lightning bolt. That's classic, but the one thing that really stands out with Jay Garrick is the winged hat, also known as Hermes' helmet, which he basically just hucks this thing and it bounces off of skulls and walls and anything with pinpoint accuracy and then returns to him. Kind of like Captain America's shield, only more badass. Don't tell Cap. And before we go on to number 9, if you guys want to go ahead and hit that like button, that would be great because they honestly help us out a lot here on the channel. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to some more flashy Flash looks. Number 9, Barry Allen's Silver Age Suit. Super suits are great. They cover up your secret identity, they keep you safe, they keep your loved ones safe, but where exactly do you store a super suit without anybody else finding out your secret identity? Well, the Flash of EarthOne and the Silver Age, Barry Allen, would store his suit inside a ring with a secret compartment. So what happens is Barry presses a button, the suit pops out, and when it's exposed to air, it expands, and then Barry can quickly suit up all in the blink of an eye. I would love a costume ring, honestly, not for like clothes or like anything, but like just for sleeping bags, because getting that bed in or out never works. I just give up, I stuff it in like I'm late for class, you know, just whatever, we'll deal with it next summer. Toss, bye. The ring itself is pretty fancy even without the suit. It's a mixture of gold and stainless steel and a special alloy that Barry himself created. Mr. Fancy Pants. So if you think you could just replace it like you would a phone case, you're horribly mistaken. Number 8, Wally West Rebirth. When Barry Allen went back in time and kicked off the whole Flashpoint event, Wally West was missing after all this mess had unfolded. So Wally was replaced, but that original version of him from before never came back. Until Rebirth. And his suit is more red than anything this time around, which I'm a fan of. The yellow is nice, but when it's just one color, I don't know, it makes me happy for some reason. I like when it's just one thing. One of the best features of this upgrade on the suit is that his hair is free to blow in the wind, which is a very important upgrade. Whenever I see a superhero wearing a helmet with like a chin strap, I can't help but kind of laugh. It doesn't look the most badass. I mean, sometimes it does, but most of the time it's like, here to fight crime. It's like, no, let's get the hair out, look cool, you know? Let it blow in the wind, be free. There's white lightning visible when he uses his powers, and it's silver when he's not. I also love how they added additional lightning bolts to the lines on the exterior of his boots. Kind of reminds me of the hover boots from Ocarina of Time. They just look like super boots, you know?
Coming in at number 7, we have Iron Lad's armor. Stepping away from Tony Stark for a hot second, let us take a look at the armor Nathaniel Richards wears as Iron Lad. This neurokinetic suit was actually given to him by Kang the Conqueror, his future self, and Nate decided that instead of following in his own footsteps, he would travel to the past and enlist the help of the Avengers. However, they had already been disbanded. After downloading Vision's operating system and the Avengers failsafe program into his suit, he took up the guise of Iron Lad with plans to assemble the Young Avengers. While wearing this armor, Nate is able to lift 10 tons, create temporal divergences allowing him to travel through time, fire concussive blasts from his fingertips, and fly. This suit is also connected directly to his thoughts and emotions, so it's able to manifest and transform it into whatever he's thinking. For example, say if someone grabbed him and he felt scared, the suit might create some spikes to get the attacker away. During this fight with Kang the Conqueror, Nate actually removes the armor to prevent himself from being tracked, and thanks to the Vision operating system, it becomes fully sentient, allowing Nate to return to his own timeline knowing that there will be someone or something around to protect the people as part of the Young Avengers. First appearing in 2005's Young Avengers number 1, why not give this whole storyline a read for yourself? Number 6, model number 9. Now this one doesn't really get a fancy title like the other ones for some reason, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. After just one look at it, you're probably really confused why I put it on this list today, and rightly so, because it is one of Tony's earliest models. Tony finished this model just before the first Armor Wars and was very reluctant to use it due to his high power capabilities. However, he was later forced to use it to stop firepower after he was previously defeated in his other suits, and needless to say, he kinda got a taste for it because he continued to work as Iron Man in this suit for quite some time. Equipped with a battle computer that can track up to 60 enemies at once, a universal translator, an energy shield, and so much more, this suit is really not one you want to mess with. However, that's not why I thought it should be mentioned today. This suit is unique because at one point it actually fused with the Sword of Legend, Excalibur, bestowing Tony with magical powers along with his already incredibly advanced technology. And now with a badass new look, this suit also made him invulnerable, and this suit allowed Tony to defeat an extra-dimensional eye monster before reverting back to its original form. It sucks that this form didn't last longer, but hey, I guess if you make Iron Man invincible for too long, his ego might get bigger, and I don't think anyone would be able to handle that. The model number 9 suit first appears in 1988's Iron Man number 231, but if you're only interested in seeing it fused with Excalibur, don't worry, I got you. Check out Iron Man number 249 and 250.
Number 5, a Joker Batsuit. What's the best way to attack Batman? You attack him personally. In the Joker Wars storyline, Joker does exactly that. Stealing Bruce's money, his influence as Batman, and his weaponry and equipment. He even steals a version of the Batsuit. What makes this even more of a personal attack is that this suit was meant to be a possible future Bright Knight suit. Joker modified the suit with a big smile over the bat symbol and ha-has all over it. We first see the suit after it is shown that the Joker dug up the body of Alfred and reanimated it with the Joker toxin. Everything he is doing is to personally attack Bruce, and this suit, in combination with everything else, was the perfect way to do that. Its use isn't helpful. Its use is against Batman. Is that cheating? I mean, I don't know. You decide. Number 4. Thanagarian Armor. In the DC Justice miniseries, Batman ends up wearing a suit of Thanagarian armor to protect himself from Brainiac's mind control. This wasn't all this super sweet armor could do though. The armor is able to resist punches from Superman, and it's designed for combat against the world's toughest villains. Like a lot of other useful Batman armors, this suit also has a propulsion and wing system that allows him to fly, helping him deal with many more threats. It is also very obviously a callback to the old Batmobile from the 1966 Batman live-action series with the black metal red accent look. It's a shame we don't see more of it. Number 3. Augmentation Suit. In a Batman and Robin New 52 storyline, Batman faces off against a villain called Terminus, trying to prevent him from destroying the world. Bruce faces Terminus in a new suit called the Augmentation Suit that is equipped inside the Batmobile. While we haven't seen much of this suit yet, it is more agile than Batman's other armored suits, and it's capable of granting the man inside crazy super strength, the ability of flight, and it allows Batman to stop a nuclear missile dead in its tracks, which is really all I need to say. It's an incredibly advanced and strong Batsuit, easily making it one of the most useful. Number 2. Rookie Bat Armor. This point actually technically covers 2 suits. And one is another mech suit. This isn't actually worn by Bruce Wayne. This suit actually appeared at the end of Endgame. The DC story Endgame, not Avengers Endgame, obviously. And is worn by none other than Jim Gordon when Bruce is missing and presumed dead. The super heavy Batsuit and the small stealth suit inside of it were created by Powers Tech for the GCPD. It had digital camo, thermal imaging, an auto defibrillator, enhanced strength, cape-shaped bomb shields, rocket thrust boots, anti-gravity magnets boots, a tear gas cannon, a smoke pulse cannon, decibel defense, and a voice changer. It allowed the former commissioner to take the place of Batman for a short period of time. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Before we get on to the number 1 pick, I just want to say a quick thanks from me and all of us at Top 10 Nerd for watching, liking, and subscribing. Unlike Batman and the Bat Family, we appreciate and need your support all of the time, not just when things get difficult. Number 1, the Hazbat Suit. So we all know Batman is just a dude in a batsuit. He has to use his ingenuity and skill to defeat threats that metahumans can face one-on-one. But when the threat is too great, the metahumans help him out. Enter the Hazbat Suit. Designed by the Justice League core members, the Hazbat Suit was actually forged by Superman inside the sun. The Hazbat armor allows Batman to fly, run at super speed, and emit huge energy blasts, while also boosting up his strength and durability. Obviously, it has to have a downside, or there's no reason he wouldn't wear it all the time. It slowly drains Bruce Wayne's life force, and would actually kill him if he wore it too long. There's always a catch. Number 10, SpiderMan Noir. This one is coming in at number 10 because people in the comments will tell me it's very well known. Yeah, I know, but it's awesome. So, I don't know. Deal with it. On Earth 90214, Peter Parker modeled his spider suit after his Uncle Ben's World War I air pilot uniform. But I mean, no, he modeled it after being totally awesome. With that trench coat and the fedora hat, the goggles, the vest, he even carries a pistol. He used what he had in the 1930s to create a spider detective. You love it, I love it, we all love it. And it always deserves to be talked about when we talk about Spider-Man suits. Always. Number 9, the Bombastic Bagman. If you don't know about this suit, you're welcome. It has appeared twice. Both times are equally hilarious. The first time it ever appeared was when Peter removed the symbiote costume with the help of Reed Richards and Johnny Storm, and had no choice but to put on an extra Fantastic Four costume. But those costumes don't have masks. So what did he do? Make a new one, I hear you say? Don't be silly. No. Johnny poked eye holes in a paper bag and put it on Peter's head. But that's not all. Oh no. It seems as though someone placed a kick me sign on the back of the costume too, as if it wasn't all embarrassing enough. Adam, how is this useful? Because it's hilarious. Oh, and it's a really great last minute costume idea to keep his identity secret. Yeah, that's why. Number 8. the Canadian Spider Suit. In an alternate reality, first seen in Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History Volume 1 Number 6, Ben Reilly wore a suit that differs a little bit from its blue and red counterpart. This suit had a black and red color scheme. The aesthetic webbing looked very suspiciously like plaid. It had brown leather gloves and boots, and the chest spider symbol was inside of a pinkish white maple leaf-like shape. I can't possibly tell what they were going for here. Oh, you know what? I think, yeah, it's a Canadian Spider-Man. Other than the aesthetic, Canadian Spider Ben Reilly is exactly the same as his 616 counterpart, but way more apologetic and probably slightly more resistant to cold weather. Number 7, Bleeding Edge Armor. So the Bleeding Edge Armor is a lot like the armor we see in the Infinity War and Endgame movies, meaning it's almost like a liquid armor. It's actually made of microbots, but hey, tomato tomato. The bots can take the form of clothes, other armors, or even beings upon Tony's skin. As well as that, the suit can form a bunch of different weapons. The part about this suit that I think makes it ultimately the most useful is its RT node. This powers both the suit and Tony's transhuman body. It grants him a crazy augmented intelligence and superhuman multitasking and learning abilities. Meaning, it makes a super genius even more super genius-y. Number 6, Ice Armor. This armor, more than anything, shows the vast range of Tony Stark's mind. The Ice Armor came to be when Tony Stark was sent back in time to 1 million BC. Tony had to make this suit out of whatever materials he had around. So at the time, it was a limited amount of vibranium that he turned into batteries and circuitry of his ruined modern armor. The suit defensively was kind of impressive, considering it was able to hold up against a fight with Mephisto, even if it got damaged. The weapon systems were super low tech, like so low tech it fired icicles. I'm sure this was pretty high tech though for 1 million BC. Number 5, Secret Avengers. When Steve Rogers became Commander Rogers of the Secret Avengers, he adopted a new suit design. It's actually very similar to and was the inspiration for the MCU Captain America Winter Soldier suit. The suit itself is more subtle, featuring a darker blue color with a silver star emblem and stripe design. It reflects the serious, darker tone of both the Secret Avengers stories and that MCU movie. In the movie, it is referred to as the stealth suit and offers more maneuverability and a more Kevlar armored design. It's also Chris Evans' favorite suit. It's a suit that allows Steve to step out of the role of Captain America, always doing what is expected, and instead act as himself and make the tough calls. Number 4, Iron Cap. This alternate version of Cap first appears in Bullet Points number 1. After Dr. Erskine was assassinated, the Super Soldier Serum program had to be scrapped, and Steve Rogers, still wanting to serve his country, agreed to join a program that saw him medically grafted to a giant suit of Iron Man armor. Obviously, this is different from most other normal Cap suits. This suit resembled the first few iterations of the Iron Man armor, with many of its capabilities. The suit, however, took a huge toll on Steve, who even went through rigorous stamina and strength training. He was eventually killed in the suit when he was sent on a mission to subdue the Peter Parker version of Hulk. The story, Bullet Points, is really interesting, serving up alternate versions of characters in interesting ways. Check it out if you have the chance. The art is also amazing. Number 3, Danielle Cage. As the child of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, Danielle Cage has a lot to live up to. In one possible future, and many others, Danielle exceeded all the expectations by taking up the mantle of Captain America. She was among the heroes who were summoned to the future to end All-Father Ultron's tyrannical reign. First appearing in US Avengers number 1, Danielle herself inherited the bulletproof nature of her father, Luke Cage. So that's one thing that her, and by extension her suit, has over the usual Captain America uniform. But she also inherited the powers of her mother. She's one tough gal. Another interesting point about her is that her shield is a replica of the original Cap shield that is also a voice-commanded drone. But as she always reminds her villains, she doesn't just throw the shield, she is the shield. Number 2, Gladiator Cap. In the battle world, there are many lands that hold mystery and enchantment, but none as much or with as much savageness as the Green Land. First appearing in Planet Hulk number 1, this version of Captain America is a fighter in the battle world Colosseum on the outskirts of Doomstat, and he fights alongside a giant red T-Rex named Devil. That, just right there, is enough to sell me on this comic. This version of Cap wields a battle axe, alongside a shield that I'm assuming is not vibranium, but it takes a beating, so who knows? He also wears battle armor in true gladiator fashion with long blonde hair and no helmet. He is sent by God Emperor Doom and Sheriff Strange to go into the Green Land, which is basically inhabited by Hulks, and eliminate the Red King, who's a Red Hulk. It's Gladiator Steve Rogers with a battle-bound T-Rex. Just do yourself a favor and check it out. Number 1. Commander A, or Kyoshi Morales. When a group of 5 Captain Americas from different realities are brought together, we get a look at 2 who have not yet been seen before. But the one I want to talk about here is Kyoshi Morales, the great grandnephew of Luke Cage and the 25th century's Commander A. His uniform is quite unique, as is Kyoshi himself, standing tallest and most imposing among the Captain Americas gathered by Toph Key. Instead of a vibranium shield, Kyoshi's suit can generate energy shields on each arm, similar in appearance to the normal Captain America's. His suit is much more advanced as well, as you'd expect from the 25th century Captain America stand-in. It features a neuro web, which allows him to tap into wireless systems and it stores information. He himself is just super cool and probably my favorite of the members of the Captain America Corps. Number 10. American Civil War. In What If Captain America number 1, Captain America first actually appeared in 1863 as a member of the Union in the American Civil War. This version of the Cap didn't actually receive his enhancements from a super soldier serum like he does in the mainline continuity. Instead, after being mortally wounded with an encounter with an exceedingly evil and racist version of Bucky Barnes, he is reborn by a version of Sam Wilson, who was taken in by the Shawnee, and who conjures an ancient eagle spirit that makes both Rogers and Barnes the same on the outside as they are on the inside. His suit was more Civil War era appropriate, wearing a coat, pants, and boots of the era. His classic helmet was replaced by more of a headdress, with a shield made of an unknown bulletproof material. This version of Captain America could actually summon a spirit eagle that would fight on his behalf. The uniform was supposed to represent unity of all the peoples of America, which is what this Captain America fought for. Number 9. Spirit of 76. When the original Captain America and Bucky Barnes went missing in action in 1945, the role of Captain America was kept alive by William Naslund, who was formerly the hero known as the Spirit of 76. First showing up in Captain America Comics number 49, William took on the role after being asked by President Truman. He was given a version of the uniform that was extremely similar to the original. The only real difference is the shield. That wasn't the original indestructible one. It instead was made of steel. William Naslund himself dedicated himself to being on par with the original Captain America. He just didn't have the powers. The suit's main function was to keep the idea of Captain America alive after the original's death. It also explained for comic fans why he was still around in active service after he supposedly died. So there's that. Number 8. The Captain. First appearing as just the Captain in Captain America number 337, Steve Rogers found himself unable to merely follow orders as a simple soldier, especially after the events of the government that led to him becoming nomad. He resigned the Captain America mantle, even surrendering his shield to the new Captain America John Walker. He took up a new adamantium-based shield, and with a new uniform, he went on as a subtly different titled hero. His suit as the Captain was black instead of blue, with a red and white striped chest and red gloves and boots. The suit itself did nothing different on its own, but it allowed him to continue fighting as a hero, and eventually it was passed on to John Walker when he became US agent. Hold up guys, I just want to say a quick thanks for watching. If you could toss your shields at that like and subscribe button, it would really help us out here. Also, while I have your attention, I wanted to just let you all know about Top 10 Nerd on Facebook. If you head over there, you can find more content from us. Alright, enough promotion, on to the rest of the list. Number 7. Bucky Barnes. We spoke about Sam Wilson taking up the Captain America mantle in the last video, but what about when Bucky donned the shield back in 2005? After Steve Rogers' assassination, Bucky got Captain America's shield after defeating Black Widow and eventually confronting Tony Stark, who he held responsible. After a fight, it was decided that Bucky would be the new Captain America. Bucky outfitted himself with an alternate version of Cap's costume built by Tony Stark. The new adamantium laced uniform looked pretty good, with more of a V-shaped flag design. The costume also includes a lot of black, kind of reflecting Bucky's darker nature, or even reflecting the tragic way he came into the mantle in the first place. As Cap, Bucky also wielded a pistol, which is strange to see on a Captain America, but it also makes sense for Bucky's character on the whole. Number 6. Peggy. We all know who Peggy Carter is thanks to the MCU, and if you've seen the What If show, you know alternate versions of her get the super soldier serum in place of Steve Rogers. Logically, this would make her a Captain Britain, which she is one of them as well, but a version of her appearing in Exiles number 3 in 2018 decided to become Captain America. I honestly like her Captain America costume a lot. It looks cool with the collared shirt underneath and with the shoulder straps, but it also plays to Peggy's more tactical approach, more spy and espionage vibes, I think. Plus, it's just a great concept. Number 5. Iron Destroyer Armor. During the Fear Itself storyline, the god Odin let Tony Stark have access to the forges of Nidavellir, to create weapons to counter the Serpent and his forces. Tony created a whole bunch of Uru metal weapons for himself and a group of other heroes. Tony merged the systems of his Bleeding Edge armor with the Uru metal, turning it into the Iron Destroyer. When Odin left back to Asgard at the end of the fight, the powers of the Uru weapons and the Iron Destroyer armor disappeared. So Tony removed the Uru from the suit and gave it back to the forges along with the rest of the weapons to be melted down and reforged into something else. This armor, as well as the other Uru weapons created, were so sweet. If he could have kept it, the armor would have been extremely useful against so many different threats. Number 4, Renaissance Armor. The Renaissance Armor first appeared in Iron Man Volume 3, Number 1, and was created to be a safe. The Renaissance Armor first appeared in Iron Man Volume 3, Number 1, and was created to be a safe armor. Safe from exposure to other suits' power systems that were causing health problems. So yeah, just based on that, it's already much more useful. It had a sonic ramshot weapon in addition to normal sonic weapons, repulsors, pulse bolts, and a unibeam. It had tear gas pellets and a fire extinguishing foam in the left gauntlet. It also had a really cool hamster ball force field bubble thing to protect civilians. It almost seems like it would be a really good riot suit or something like that. Hey y'all, let me stop you for a little word from our sponsors. It's you. Thanks to all your support, we're able to keep bringing you these videos. So thanks a lot. And don't forget to shoot your repulsors at that like button. Okay, on to the top 3. Number 3, the Phoenix Killer Armor. The Model 38, or the Phoenix Killer Armor, first appeared in Avengers vs. X-Men number 5, and was created to counteract the Phoenix. Obviously. So the armor's main purpose was to kill the Phoenix Force. And if you don't know, the Phoenix Force is one of the oldest cosmic entities in the Marvel Universe. It's basically the manifestation of the force of life. It's one of the most powerful and feared entities in the Marvel landscape. And Tony was like, I can kill this with lasers. No, you can't. But what you did do, Tony, was split it in 5, which resulted in 5 mutants, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Namor, Colossus, and Magic becoming avatars to the Phoenix Force. Congratulations, you played yourself. Number 2, Model 53. The Iron Man armor Model 53 was made after Tony's normal armor failed to stop an evil clone of Squirrel Girl. So I'm calling this a Squirrel Girl Buster Armor, and you can't stop me, okay? Cool. It was made for the single purpose of countering the abilities of Squirrel Girl. It's got a super cute squirrel head, which has a backup of that aforementioned RT node. It's got repulsors, obviously, but they're strong enough to even knock out Black Panther. And it sort of looks like a Hulkbuster armor, which is interesting. When the evil clone defeats all the other Avengers that Iron Man had assembled, the clone uses their weapons to defeat this suit. But if she didn't have that, Iron Man would probably have been able to take the win here. Probably. Number 1, Model 60. This armor is very interesting. You see, its main ability was to be able to switch into its transportation mode, which was, wait for it, a Vespa. A Vespa that Tony used to go on a date with Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. Get it? Because Vespa is Italian for wasp. Very slick, Tony. Very slick indeed. The Vespa, plus the helmet Tony wears, can form into an Iron Man suit, which it did when the two were attacked by robots sent by Banetronics. It does all the same things an Iron Man suit does, plus it has a cool energy sword, but it turns into a Vespa, which is the best part about this useful armor. Number 10, Stealth Armor. Yes, Iron Man has a stealth suit. Are you surprised? You're gonna say no, right? Right? There are many iterations of this suit, but just for the sake of this video and my sanity, we are only going to cover the first one. This appeared in Iron Man 152 when Tony used the suit to infiltrate the Heaven's Hand Fortress. Now, the armor itself prioritizes stealth over everything else, meaning it isn't really meant for combat. But to make up for that, the suit has a radar absorbing coating, ECM jamming, and a plasma force field thingy to distort radar and sonar. It had stealthy flight capabilities, and eventually it also had camouflage. Later iterations were much more advanced, but this is probably one of the more useful suits for many different circumstances. 9. Endo Sim Armor. I saw some of you guys suggest this one, so I wanted to give it a spot. The Endo Sim Armor is a super slick and capable version of the Iron Man armor. A lot of you have probably heard of it, but whatever. This armor first fully debuted in the Superior Iron Man story when Tony's moral axis was switched. The suit is based off of symbiote biology, meaning the process of the liquid metal suiting up is completely psionic. It's basically almost alive, not having its own intelligence, but can form into an armor without the user inside of it to command it. Tony can even send the suit out onto another person to protect or trap them. The repulsors are uber powerful. It has rocket boosted punches, can absorb electromagnetic energy, and it's not weak to sonic attacks like most symbiotes. It's also super stylish. Number 8, Rescue Armor. Thanks to the MCU, many people probably know that Pepper Potts has an Iron Man-like suit. Donning her armor, she becomes the hero Rescue. The armor was secretly designed by Tony for use by Pepper. The suit isn't really built for offense. Its specialties are more emergency search and rescue. The original thrusters don't even create heat, but it does have repulsors and finger lasers. The suit can fly and gives Pepper super speed and strength. It also lets her manipulate magnetic fields. The armor also is capable of generating force fields that are strong enough to catch airplanes, as an example. It generally remains the same in all its iterations, being used primarily for defense, except the MCU suit, which was clearly very offensive. Like, as in it could fight, not that it was offending people. Offensive. You get it. Number 7, Threats and Menaces Suit. TNM, or Threats and Menaces, is a news website in New York City, and after a long time of being unemployed, Peter Parker accepts a job there. They give him a new suit that can record his perspective as Spider-Man and broadcast it live, giving viewers a first-person view of Spidey's battles, essentially turning Spider-Man into a streamer. It 100% defeats the purpose of being a hero, and if he wasn't doing it because he had no job at the time, I think it was kind of sleazy, but it's also kind of really awesome. Like, I definitely watched that. The suit also got a new, really cool white, blue, and yellow color scheme, and enhanced his strength and speed. If that wasn't enough though, the suit also has holographic abilities, and every few minutes includes a word from TNM's sponsors. Number 6, SpiderMan Earth 71928. On Earth 71928, Peter's life remained pretty much the same as Earth 616 Peter until Uncle Ben died, and Peter killed the robber who shot him. In a very Punisher-like decision, Peter decided to deal with crime by any means, meaning he killed criminals. Peter tried to avoid this at first, but since criminals be criminals, and that life is kind of hard to leave behind, they always came back, and gosh darn it, Peter was not okay with that. Yeah, a great reason to be a murderer, man. He carried the pistol that took Uncle Ben's life, as well as other weaponry with multiple different types of ammunition. His suit also took a skull logo instead of the traditional spider logo due to the spider that gave him his powers being a noble false widow, which has a cephalothorax that looks like a skull. Yeah, okay, Marvel. You know, I'm seeing a lot of Punisher parallels here. Strange.
Number 5, we have Model 50 Endo Sim Armor. Following the inversion spell that flipped his moral axis, Tony designed the Endo Sim Suit, a symbiotic suit made completely of a liquid smart metal that hardens when in contact with his body. Based off the symbiote's biology, this suit is basically meant to be on his person at all times, and it can even be controlled remotely, going as far as to take a humanoid form that is able to take commands through a psionic link. The abilities of the suit are absolutely insane. It's capable of absorbing energy, sustaining electrical currents like a never-ending taser, and even has the ability to increase its size into a makeshift Hulkbuster style suit. Fans have seen this armor go up against the likes of Storm and Spectre and come out on top with little to no damage taken. Unfortunately, or thankfully, I guess I'm not really sure at this point, it was destroyed during the Secret War and nobody has seen anything close to it ever since. Making a small cameo in 2014's Avengers Volume 5, number 32, we are fully introduced to this beast of a suit in 2015's Superior Iron Man number 1, so go take a look at it for yourself. Coming in at number 4, we have Model 51 Model Prime Armor. With the prototype first appearing in 2015's Contest of Champions number 1, this suit's full version came to life in the Invincible Iron Man Volume 3 number 1, and man, it is a pretty dang good suit. It basically combines all the aspects of Tony's other suits, making it adaptable to any task at hand. Even though it was designed solely because Tony felt threatened by Riri Williams, the 15-year-old MIT student who was able to reverse engineer some of his tech, it's a good thing it came to be because it has been very useful. Comprised of small hexagonal scales, this suit features upgraded versions of the standard Iron Man armor weaponry such as repulsor blasters that can cut through enemies with phasing abilities, and 3 unibeams on his chest, effectively making it a tri-beam. This suit also has some new tricks up its sleeves, such as a new onboard cloaking system. It can work autonomously if the pilot is injured, and most impressively, the suit can change shape at a moment's notice into anything from a sword to a complete shift into a Hulkbuster-like suit. It's also immune to a number of attacks, namely sonic attacks and EMPs, and can take a serious beating from the likes of Captain Marvel and so many more. There has also been another character in the Marvel Universe who actually donned this specific suit for a bit, but you know what, I'll let you find out who it was for yourself. Number 3, Model 37, Bleeding Edge Armor. Dubbed the next step after Extremis by Tony himself, this suit was created while he was trying to reinvent himself and his armor. Stark worked with Reed Richards to create this after getting away from running S.H.I.E.L.D. and being the head of the world. This suit existed inside of Tony Stark's body, literally forming around him thanks to incredibly powerful nanotech, and I know it's unrealistic as a set of armor made out of nanotech may seem, the Bleeding Edge Armor is arguably one of the best suits that Tony Stark has ever worn. Not only does it bring the benefits of an improved Extremis to the table, the nanotech that powers it basically ensures that Iron Man is ready to fight whenever and wherever. By creating a second layer of artificial muscle over to Stark's body, the armor is capable of healing itself and making it effectively invulnerable. And that, coupled with all his normal weaponry alongside a new energy blade and deflector shields, makes you wonder if it could get any better than this. It also happens to be one of Stark's most popular suits, become the hero's default look for several years, as well as the main inspiration for Tony's suit in Iron Man 3. Now, considering how quickly Iron Man can switch out of suits, 3 years with a single set of armor is pretty impressive, and that's why it's so high on this list today. Check it out in action for yourself in 2010's Invincible Iron Man Volume 2, number 25. Coming in at number 2, we have Model 61, Godkiller Armor Mark II. Based on the original Godkiller armor created by the Aspirant many eons earlier, Tony created this celestial-sized armor and kept it hitting, having it orbit Mars in case one day a threat was big enough to warrant using it. Powered by 8 nuclear reactors, this suit is pretty basic when it comes to weaponry, only possessing repulsor blasters. However, its speed and strength make up for it, being able to travel between Earth and Mars in a matter of minutes, and able to lift celestial beings off the ground. When the Dark Celestials came to attack Earth in 2018's Avengers Volume 8, number 5, Tony felt it was finally time and deployed this behemoth of a machine. Allowing him to hold his own against the Dark Celestials for a short period of time, it ended up being no match for the Almighty Beings after Callus the Void was able to rip off its left arm. Hoping that taking one out would cause others to retreat, Tony attempted to launch the suit into space to blow it up. However, he was stopped by an army of dead Celestials reanimated by the Horde. With no other option, Tony ejected himself from the suit and caused it to self-destruct. Even though this armor only lasted 2 issues, its sheer power and overall manufacturing cost of over $4 billion is what landed it so high on today's list. And finally, number 1, we have Model 63, Godbuster. Originating from the Escape, a virtual reality world created by Tony that allowed his mind to become unfettered from the restraints of the human brain, giving him the inspiration and knowledge he needed to create the only thing capable of destroying Motherboard, the Godbuster Armor. Though little is known about the suit's full capabilities, Tony's brother Arno deemed it to be his masterpiece, referring to it as the ultimate weapon. And even Ironheart couldn't get a full read on its power level, stating that the armor radiated more power than anything she had ever seen before. After successfully taking down the villain, Tony realized this suit was far too powerful to remain in the real world and made the decision to fly the suit back into the factory it was created in and caused it to self-destruct, making the resources needed to recreate it and the suit completely destroyed and useless. Arno does eventually recreate a version of the suit that he wears as his own, but you know, I think we can talk about that another time, maybe in part 2? Who knows? For now though, this is all we know about the best Iron Man suit ever made, so why not check it out for yourself in 2019's Tony Stark Iron Man number 10 and number 11.